First day at camp. Tom was excited. Today was his first day at camp. He had a new backpack. Inside it, he had a hat, some water, and a snack. He also had a big smile on his face. The sun was shining. Birds were singing. The camp was near a big lake. It was beautiful. "Hello, Tom," said a girl with a red cap. "I am Sarah. Is this your first time here?" "Yes, it is," said Tom. "I am a little nervous." "Don't worry," said Sarah. "It will be fun. Look. There's a boat. And there, people are playing games." Tom looked around. Kids were laughing and running. Some were swimming in the lake. "We will make new friends," said Sarah. "Yes," Tom smiled. "It's going to be a great day." And it was. Tom played games, swam in the lake, and ate a big lunch. He made many new friends, including Sarah. At the end of the day, Tom was tired but happy. He couldn't wait for the next day at camp. Broken pencil. Lily was drawing. She loved to draw. Today, she was drawing a big sun. But suddenly, her pencil broke. "Oh no," she said. She looked in her bag. No extra pencil. What could she do? Her friend, Sam, saw her. "What's wrong?" he asked. "My pencil is broken," said Lily. "And I don't have another one." "Don't worry," said Sam. He gave her a blue pencil. "You can use mine." "Thank you, Sam." Lily smiled. With the blue pencil, Lily finished her drawing. The sun had blue rays. It looked different, but it was beautiful. Sam and Lily looked at the drawing. They both laughed. "It's a cool sun," said Sam. Lily nodded. "Thanks to you and your blue pencil." From that day, Lily always kept an extra pencil in her bag. And sometimes, she drew blue suns. Just for fun. Life is too short. In a small town named Greenwood, lived a young boy named Tim. Tim was just like any other child, with big dreams and a heart full of curiosity. However, there was something that made Tim different. He always said, "Life is too short." Now, many people in Greenwood found this strange. How could a young boy, with his entire life ahead of him, think life was short? One day, Mrs. Miller, Tim's teacher, decided to ask him. "Tim," she began, "why do you always say life is too short? You are young, and you have many years ahead." Tim looked up, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "That's true, Mrs. Miller. But every day is a gift. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. So, I want to make the most of today." Mrs. Miller was touched by his words. "Tell me more," she encouraged. "Well," Tim started, "last summer, my family went to the beach. It was sunny, and the sky was blue. I want to build a big sandcastle, but my sister wanted to swim. I told her we could swim later, and I started building my sandcastle. He paused, taking a deep breath. After a while, dark clouds covered the sky. It started to rain, and we had to leave. I didn't get to swim, and my sandcastle was washed away. Mrs. Miller nodded, understanding what he was trying to say. That day, I realized that I should have swum when it was sunny. I should have enjoyed the moment. So now, I try to do what makes me happy and not wait for later. Because sometimes, later never comes. The teacher smiled, impressed by Tim's wisdom. You're right, Tim. We should all remember that life is too short and make the most of every moment. From that day on, Mrs. Miller started each class with a new activity. Some days they would dance, other days they would sing. Sometimes they would paint, and sometimes they would just sit and talk. She wanted to teach her students that every day was special and that they should enjoy every moment. Tim's simple philosophy spread throughout Greenwood. People started valuing their time more, spending it with loved ones, and doing things they loved. And even when Tim grew up and left Greenwood, his message remained. People remembered the boy who taught them that life is too short, and every moment is precious. A little gift from teacher. In the colorful town of Sunshine Valley, there was a school named Bright Future Elementary. Every student in the school adored one teacher, Mrs. Andrews. She was kind, patient, and always had a smile on her face. But the most special thing about Mrs. Andrews was that every month, she gave a little gift to one student. One day, a young girl named Lucy came home from school with a big smile on her face. "Mom, look!" she exclaimed, holding a tiny box with a blue ribbon. "Mrs. Andrews gave me the gift this month." Her mother smiled. "Oh, how wonderful! What did you get?" Lucy carefully opened the box, revealing a small, shiny key inside. "It's a key," Lucy said, puzzled. Her mother was also surprised. "A key? What does it open?" Lucy's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "I don't know." Mrs. Andrews said it was a key to something very special. The next day at school, Lucy approached Mrs. Andrews. "Thank you for the key, but what does it open?" Mrs. Andrews knelt down to Lucy's level. "It's not a key to a physical door or box, Lucy. It's a symbolic key. It's the key to knowledge. With this key, you can open the doors to learning, imagination, and endless possibilities. Always remember, my dear, that knowledge is a gift, and it's up to you to use this key wisely." Lucy looked at the key with new respect. "Thank you, Mrs. Andrews. I promise to use it well." From that day on, Lucy became more curious. She read more books, asked more questions, and was always eager to learn. The small key from Mrs. Andrews had ignited a passion for knowledge in her. Years later, Lucy became a successful scientist. She always kept the key with her, reminding her of the invaluable lesson Mrs. Andrews taught her. The key didn't open any physical doors, but it had opened the door to her successful future. And so, in the town of Sunshine Valley, the legend of Mrs. Andrews and her special keys lived on, inspiring generations of students to value the gift of knowledge. Perfect is not perfect. In a tiny town named Perfectville, everything was, well, perfect. The houses were all the same shade of blue, the gardens were flawlessly manicured, and even the pets behaved impeccably. The townspeople took great pride in this perfection and often boasted about it to visitors. Sam, a young boy with messy hair and a penchant for drawing outside the lines, lived in Perfectville. He often felt out of place in a town where everything was so orderly. While everyone else painted their fences the exact shade of white, Sam's fence was a canvas of bright and cheerful colors. One sunny day, a town meeting was called. The mayor stood at the podium, looking very serious. "We have a problem," he declared. "Our town's name, Perfectville, is at stake. We have one fence that is not like the others. It's different." Everyone turned to look at Sam, who felt his cheeks turn red. Mrs. Green, who lived next door to Sam, stood up. "I think Sam's fence is lovely. It's unique and adds character to our town." More and more townspeople chimed in. "It's true. The fence makes me smile every time I pass by." The mayor, taken aback by the unexpected support for Sam, said, "Well, perhaps there's more to perfection than everything looking the same." From that day on, the people of Perfectville started to appreciate the beauty in imperfections. Gardens began to blossom in a riot of colors, children's laughter filled the air, and creativity was celebrated. Sam's colorful fence had taught the town a valuable lesson. Being perfect isn't about being the same as everyone else, it's about being the best version of yourself. And so, Perfectville remained perfect in its own unique way, where each individual's quirks and differences were celebrated rather than shunned. The town's name remained unchanged, but its definition of perfect had evolved to something much more meaningful.